Ah, Christmas. The time of year where everything seems like magic. The glitter of freshly fallen snow, the time spent with family, the presents, the cookies, stockings hung with care. But for some people, the stockings aren't the only hung thing they're thinking of. Nope. For some people, the only thing the holidays conjure is the sexualization of jolly old Saint Nick. That's right, some people are so into Santa Claus that it becomes an actual fetish, Santaphilia. According to research conducted by dating app Lumen, an impressive 19% of women are attracted to Santa Claus, a number that climbs to 26% for women 50 and older. Lumen's co-founder, Charlie Lester, has said that the findings aren't really that surprising at all. Being older doesn't make you any less attractive, and they were keen to uncover how many women find Santa's silver hair, thick beard, and larger build a turn on. And at nearly a fifth of women, it's more than most might think. And then there's FetLife, a popular social networking site for members of the fetish community that has some users who are super into the idea of getting spanked by Santa. And speaking of spanking, Pornhub clocks Santa, or Santa's helper, as two of the top searches in November and December. The attraction to Santa isn't even a new thing. The arraignment, conviction, and imprisoning of Christmas from 1646 describes how women dote after him. He helped them to so many new gowns, hats, and handkerchiefs, and other fine knacks, in which is good store of all sorts. It is such a problem for professional Santa portrayers that they sometimes fall prey to sexual assault. Brady White, who is sort of a Santa to the stars, in an interview with CNN, said there are women who have confessed to having sexual Santa Claus fantasies. And a woman at Cartier in Atlanta one year even took a seat on his lap and opened her fur coat to reveal her bare breasts. But how do people develop a thing for Santa Claus, especially based on the childhood association? Well, according to lifestyle website Xerxa.com, here are 7 possibilities. Santa is the ultimate daddy. Santa is like a kind and generous authority figure who makes you feel safe. And for women who had a disconnected or emotionally unavailable father, it would make sense that they would feel a deep attraction to someone who is there for them and makes them feel secure. Santa is the ultimate sugar daddy. Even as a child, the idea of sitting on Santa's lap and whispering in his ear can stick. When else do you get to whisper into a man's ear and tell him everything you want, and then voila, he gives it to you? It's easy to imagine this dynamic playing out in the bedroom. What makes this even better is that Santa doesn't ask for anything in return. He just wants to make you happy. Santa wears red. Another alluring quality of good old Saint Nick is his red outfit. Research shows that this color can increase a person's attractiveness. Plus, we have long associated red with romantic concepts like love, passion, and fire. It also seems that people who wear the color red are far more confident and actually more sexual too. Seeing Santa decked out head to toe in red may signal something to the subconscious mind and contribute to the sexual fetish, that white beard. In a survey of over 8,000 women, ranging from young to old, researchers discovered that hands down, women think men with facial hair are much more attractive. Santa has experience. Some women are really into older men, and Santa's age can definitely work in his favor. Santa is basically an eternal figure who has been part of the Christmas culture for centuries, and an experienced man can be kind of exciting. Santa is in the driver's seat. Santa's the one in control, and that just doesn't refer to driving his reindeer sleigh. Sometimes women don't want to be in control, they want to let loose and stop feeling so uptight, and it's exciting to let someone else dominate you once in a while. He comes when you're asleep. Tradition has it that Santa only comes to your house when you're asleep. He sneaks into your house and leaves you gifts, and you can interpret that any way you want. Whatever the case may be, we owe a lot of the sexualization of Santa Claus in the mainstream to Miss Eartha Kitt and her 1953 hit song,
Santa Baby. And hurry down the chimney tonight.
Hello to all you stocking stuffers, and welcome on back to Heard It in a Love Song, the show where we take a look into the history of a love song we all know and love. This week, in a very special Christmas Eve episode, we take a look into Eartha Kitt and her massively influential ode to old Saint Nick, Santa Baby. We start our story off a bit differently this time around. The story of Eartha Kitt starts off quite hazy, especially for her. Eartha Mae Keith was born on January 17, 1927, not January 26th, like she had believed. It was a fact that she did not know until she was 71 years old. Because in 1998, when she was 71 years old, she finally had an opportunity to see her birth certificate, a feat that required a massive legal battle on her end, which is par for the course for the racist history of America. Now, we will be tackling half of Eartha Kitt's story today, but I bring up Eartha in 1998 as a means to get to her lineage. So it's January 17th, 1927, in St. Matthews, South Carolina, and Eartha Mae Keith is born to a 14-year-old black Cherokee named Anna Mae Keith, and a father whom Eartha never knew the name of. Now, you'll recall I just told you that she found her birth certificate, so why no father's name? Well, history has a really good track record of hiding the sins of racist white men from the wider public, and that is what happened here. The white son of a wealthy plantation owner took a liking to Anna Mae Keith, a sharecropper that worked on his father's farm, and, like rich white folk are wont to do, he took what he wanted, raping Anna Mae, and from that, she became pregnant. Eartha Kitt's father would leave the picture not long after her birth. By the time Eartha was 6 years old, Anna Mae had met and fallen in love with a black man whose first name is unknown. But given that Anna Mae changed her last name to Riley, it's safe to assume that his last name was Riley as well. It wasn't long before her new stepfather's distaste for her lighter complexion came to light. In an interview with The Guardian, Eartha Kitt's daughter, Kit Shapiro, had this to say: "My mother was referred to as, quote, yellow gal, which was not a compliment. It meant someone that thought they were better than everyone else, even though my mother was just a child at the time. She was horribly abused in the South. She was beaten and mistreated, both emotionally and physically. When Eartha was 8 years old, her mother, Anna Mae, decided to side with her new husband and sent Eartha to live with her aunt, Eartha Kitt. I say aunt, but Eartha came to believe that this woman might have secretly been her true biological mother. Eartha took Marnie's surname, going from Eartha Keith to Eartha Kitt. This was to be a new start for Eartha, as Marnie had taken her out of South Carolina and brought her to the neighborhood of Harlem in New York City. Unacquainted with indoor plumbing and electricity, she remembered sitting by the radio, completely in awe of the voices coming from the speakers. I often sat by the radio for long periods of time, hoping the little people would come out so I could see what they looked like," she would say. But, while radio was a brand new fixture for her in her life, abuse wasn't. And sadly, Marnie proved to be just as abusive as anything Eartha had been used to growing up in South Carolina. She was a child abuser, Eartha told Veronica Webb in an interview. "I never knew when she was going to pick up a stool and hit me over the head with it. Not because I was doing anything wrong. I went to school with black eyes and welts on my bottom, and I figured, well, I guess that's the way it was meant to be." Kit fell into a cycle of being beaten, running away from home, and then returning. This pattern reoccurred until she was a teenager, at which point she left Marnie's home for good, becoming homeless. During this time, as she worked in a New York factory, she would sleep on rooftops or in the subway. But teachers soon realized their pupil was a gifted orator and singer, and she won a place at the Metropolitan Vocational High School, later renamed the High School of Performing Arts. Her life changed even more when a new friend dared her to take a class at the Katherine Dunham Dance Company, even though she wasn't a dancer. "I laughingly joined the class, followed the teacher, and joked my way all the way down to the dance floor to the rhythm of African drums," Kit wrote in her autobiography, I'm Still Here, Confessions of a Sex Kitten. Afterwards, at 16 years old, Eartha Kitt was shocked to learn that she had won a full scholarship and entry into the company. And that, she wrote, is where the performer Eartha Kitt was born.
We'll always have Paris.
Kit toured South America and Europe with the company and emerged as one of its solo stars when it was discovered that she could sing as well as she danced. She was taught African, Haitian, and Cuban songs. Capitalizing on her exotic beauty and her ability to speak multiple languages, the entertainer's blend of sensuality and sophistication made her an instant hit with international audiences. And her individual stardom also brought clashes with the troupe leader, Katherine Dunham, and so the two ended their association in Paris in 1949. Kit was introduced to the high life by legendary playboy Porfirio Rubirosa, who was then married to heiress Doris Duke. Kit struck out on her own and developed a smash act at the nightclub Le Carrols, run by Marlene Dietrich's former lover, Freddie Baul. During a dark period of unemployment, Kit got wind that Orson Welles was in Paris and looking for her. In 1950, Welles cast Kit as Helen of Troy in his stage version of Dr. Faustus. I asked Orson at one point who this character was. What kind of woman is she? "Don't ask stupid questions, you stupid child," Orson told me. "I chose you to play this part because you are the most exciting woman in the world. You represent all women of all ages. You have no place or time. This confused me more than ever, so I just played myself. Despite his condescending attitude, the two grew close, with Eartha Kitt regularly soaking up Wells' vast knowledge of Shakespeare and Goethe. In Confessions of a Sex Kitten, she recalls the thrill of Orson walking me to the Plaza Athénée along the Champs-Élysées after dinner, often in the haunting spell of a rising sun, where Paris was really in the glory of her beauty. But it wasn't all romance and the beauty of artistic culture. As Kitt notes pointedly, she adored Orson in spite of himself. Wells grew jealous of Kitt's rave reviews and would often purposely block her with his enormous frame on stage. During one performance, he suddenly bit her lip during a scripted kiss, drawing blood like a vampire. He then ran off stage, forcing Kitt to perform a song with blood running down her chin. And after the curtain call, a fuming Kitt ran backstage. I had a feeling Orson would dart away as quickly as he could, and he did. I ran to his dressing room and caught him just before he can get inside and close the door. The cast were hysterical as they watched this 5'2" tall creature pound Orson on his giant, humongous chest, her feet rising off the floor as she demanded, "Why did you bite me?" Orson took both my hands in his and picked me up till my feet were off the floor again, saying, "I got excited." We all laughed. But despite their crackling chemistry, Kitt claims that their relationship was strictly platonic. There was a love affair going on between Orson and me, but it was not sexual. Maybe this is why Orson said I was the most exciting woman in the world, as he was never given a chance to find out how unexciting I might have been in bed. The most exciting men in my life have been the men who have never taken me to bed. Kitt's 1950 dramatic debut in Wells' Dr. Faustus drew critical acclaim and established her as a serious actress. She starred in Paris and Sempre Paris, Paris is Always Paris, before returning to New York in 1952. After a slow start, Eartha re-established her nightclub act there, and after appearing in the Broadway review New Faces of 1952 and its cinematic counterpart, she rose to new heights in popularity. Even our old buddy Cab Calloway came to see her at the premiere. In the New Faces production, she sang Monotonous, which helped launch her music career.
He gave me the Black Sea for my swimming pool. Monotonous.
By the mid-50s, Kitt was recording her international repertoire for her RCA Victor album, That Bad Eartha, and songs like C'est si bon,
C'est si bon de se dire des mots doux.
Angelito's Negros, the Turkish track Üsküdar'a, and the Calypso track Somebody Bad Stole the Wedding Bell became hits.
Somebody bad stole the wedding bell. Somebody bad stole the wedding bell.
As did An Old-Fashioned Girl,
I like the old-fashioned flowers. Violets are for me. Have them made in diamonds by the man at Tiffany.
and this week's topic, Santa Baby.
And fill my stocking with the duplex and checks.
How Santa Baby became a Christmas classic involves many hands and many pots, and starts in 1950. Composer Philip Springer had a minor hit under his belt thanks to the success of Teasin' by big band singer Connie Haynes.
But I can't resist teasing.
I was currently playing piano in a resort community in Nantucket, Massachusetts, when an older couple approached him. They knew I wrote Teasin', so they wanted advice for their daughter Joan, who wanted to be a lyric writer. They said, "Would you recommend that as a career for someone who went to Vassar and has no connection to the pop industry?" Springer replied that he thought it'd be best for her to stay out of the music industry. I said, "If your daughter goes to the Brill Building and starts writing songs, she's going to be chased around 100 desks by producers." And he promptly forgot about Joan. For 3 years, Joan had never once crossed his mind, but now it was 1953. Philip had plenty of songs in mind, composition-wise, but lyrics weren't really his forte. So he set out to find a writing partner. I was looking for a new lyric writer, so I asked someone who had a lot of contacts, and they suggested Joan Javits, the same exact person who I suggested stay out of the industry. Genuinely surprised to hear her name again, Springer phoned Javits, but she brushed him off. She said she was too busy. I asked her if she had ever written a hit song, and she said she hadn't. So I said, "I have. Are you going to tell me that you're going to refuse to write songs with a songwriter who's done more than you in the business?" And with that, Javits met up at Springer's Manhattan apartment on East 61st Street that night, and the two immediately hit it off, penning 3 songs. 2 weeks later, Javits caught wind from RCA Victor Records' Charles Gerhardt that the then Broadway star Eartha Kitt was looking to record a Christmas song. Luckily, Javits had a new collaborator to bounce ideas off of. We were all sitting in an office at the Brill Building, and we were wondering what kind of song we could write for Eartha Kitt, says Springer. Suddenly, Joan jumped up and said, "Santa Baby," and we all hit the ceiling. We knew that was right, and that was how the song started. It popped into her mind, and we all thought it was a wonderful title. There was no possible way to get some quiet in the Brill building at this period of time, with a piano famously in every office, and competing music filling the hallways. So Springer and Javits hopped in a cab back to his apartment, and within 10 minutes, they had written all the music, and Joan had penned out a few of the lines. With both the concept and structure of the song in place, Springer brought the bones of the promising track back to Gerhardt, who then put him and Javits back into a cab, this time to play for the then head of Victor Records, Joe Carlton. I don't know if you know the word flipped, but he flipped, and knew it was going to be a hit. After that, RCA Victor arranger Henry Renee worked on the track with Eartha Kitt, and it was Renee who added its now instantly recognizable boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, and a classic was born. A fun fact here is that out of all the classic Christmas songs, Santa Baby is one of just 2 Christmas songs written by a woman, the other being Little Drummer Boy, penned by Catherine Kennicott Davis in 1941. Upon its release in 1953, Santa Baby became the breakout of the holiday season and the top-selling Christmas song of the year, selling over 620,000 copies, in part because of the chatter that swirled around it. Quite a number of people were upset because it was the first sexy Christmas song, remembers Springer of its tawdry lyrics during the prim and proper early 50s, with some stations going so far as to outright ban it from airplay. One such occasion of outrage is documented in the November 28, 1953 issue of Billboard under the headline, "Santa Baby Performance for Royalty Creates a Fuss."
Santa baby, I want a yacht, and really that's not a lot.
A royal hassle nearly broke out this week involving the King and Queen of Greece, Eartha Kitt, and the new Christmas tune Santa Baby. The tempest in a teapot stemmed from the thrush's performance of the fast-breaking holiday song before the monarchs at a civic banquet last Saturday. Some of the politicos at the affair felt the song was way too adult for royalty, and made their feelings known before newspapermen who happened to be in attendance. Results of the publicity given to Miss Kitt's rendition of Santa Baby have been a sharp spurt in the sales in the RCA Victor cutting of the tune, and a jump in the sheet music sales. Santa Baby has been the top-selling Christmas disc so far this year, having hit 200,000 sales within 4 weeks of release. By fall of 1954, RCA Victor Records, looking to capitalize on the success of their Yuletide breakout, released a variety of different versions of Santa Baby, all with different lyrics. According to Springer, the avalanche of cash-in tracks solely the Kitt original and watered down the license in subsequent years. The most notable of all these versions was the pseudo-sequel, This Year's Santa Baby.
Santa baby, I must admit that you were a dear last year.
She would also re-record a more jazzy rendition in 1963.
Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight.
In 1981, the copyright expired on the song, and Javits sold her share of the rights to Springer, giving him control of the song, which allowed him to put his foot down and make sure any cover version from that point on had to adhere to the lyrics of the original version, with an exception for Michael Bublé, who got to call him Santa Buddy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
It wasn't until 1987 that the song would enjoy its second coming. I remember someone at A&M Records called me and said there was a major star who wanted to record Santa Baby, but she's giving up her royalties to charity and it will only record it if you do the same. I say, well, who's the star? They said that they were not going to tell me until I answered yes or no. So I thought for about 8 seconds and I said, I will not take any of the royalties. Who's the star? It was Madonna. And of course I fell down on the floor. The exposure of the Madonna cover, released to benefit the Special Olympics, helped reintroduce it to a brand new generation. That was about the best news you could have. It began the revival of Santa Baby to where it is now, Springer would say. So now, I would like to try our best to add up the entire wish list given to Santa Claus in Santa Baby. A sable. A sable is a small weasel-like animal that is found mostly in Russia. It's safe to assume, given her level of extravagance, that she isn't looking for a pet, but rather the fur coat from it. Now, there are American and Canadian versions of a sable coat, but the Russian version is the most valuable, and prices for a full-length Siberian sable fur coat today can cost around $100,000. In 1953, cars for 1954 were rolled out, and the most expensive convertible at the time was the Buick Roadmaster. With all the bells and whistles, it came in at about $3,521. With inflation, that's about $40,000. In 1953, a yacht would set you back $85,000. With inflation, that comes in at $880,000. This next one was tricky as hell, a platinum mine. In 2018, a deal was struck between Anglo-American Platinum and Sianda Resources to transfer the ownership of a deed to a platinum mine. The final price was $461 million. Inflated for 2021, that's $510 million. Up next is a duplex. Since Eartha called New York home, I found a 16-bedroom, 21-bath, 30,000 square foot duplex for sale at $45 million. Trimming her tree with decorations from Tiffany won't come cheap either. Let's assume Miss Kitt has an 8-foot tree. According to wholesale floral warehouse Shinoda Design Center, an 8-foot tree on average has 80 ornaments. Right now, the Tiffany website offers 5 different ornaments, so it'd take about 16 of each ornament to trim that tree, coming in at $15,600. In July 2021, Glam.com put together a list of the most expensive engagement rings of all time. At the top of that list was Mariah Carey's, coming in at a whopping $10 million. The ring is set in solid platinum and has an emerald-cut 35-carat diamond and 2 tampered baguette diamonds. I omitted checks. Whatever those two decide to cut those checks for is between them. And with that, we have our grand total, $566,035,600. Obviously, being the Christmas classic that it has been covered many times, including
Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me.
Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight.
Santa baby, an outer space convertible to light blue.
I'll wait up for you, dear Santa baby,
And hurry down the chimney tonight.
think of all the fun I missed. Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Next year I could be just as good if you check off my Christmas list.
Santa baby, I want a yacht, and really that's not a lot.
I've been an angel all year. Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry, hurry.
Santa honey, there's one more thing I really do need. The deed to a platinum mine. Santa honey.
So head down the chimney tonight.
Santa cutie, fill my stocking with a duplex and checks.
Sign your X on the line, Santa cutie, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Come and trim my Christmas tree with some decorations bought at Tiffany.
I really do believe in you. Let's see if you believe in me. But it'll be you.
Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing, a ring.
I don't mean on the phone, Santa baby.
And hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry. Tonight.
However, the one person Philip Springer wanted to cover Santa Baby never did, Barbra Streisand.
I'm Barbra Streisand!
She never recorded it, unfortunately. I wish she had recorded it, very much so, but you can't have everything. Santa Baby comes in at 104 beats per minute. What can I say about Santa Baby that hasn't already been said? Eartha Kitt caught lightning in a bottle, a woman that came from nothing, being treated like nothing, by people who were nothings. It's tongue-in-cheek, it's funny, and it is a fun twist on Christmas music that was way ahead of its time. There is no love homework this week, my treat to you as your music teacher. Enjoy the time with your family, and just relax. And that's it, the end of another love song history lesson. If you like what you learned, and you'd like to keep on learning, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a like below, and join me again next week for our last video of the year. Until next time, Remember to ask for a deed to a platinum mine. And remember, you heard it in a love song.
Yeah, you were. You were on my lap 5 minutes ago.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were. Now you're going on Santa's list and you're getting nothing.
Fuck you, Santa!